Good morning. It is Tuesday, December 15th. Oh my goodness, we are only 9 days away from being done with Vlogmas. This is bonkers. Okay. It is now noon because I've just been poodling around the house, sort of like halfway getting my crap together. I slept in because I just needed to sleep. We're gonna hit it again tomorrow, don't you worry. I haven't even exercised yet. We still have to exercise. And today is probably gonna be like a 40-minute long workout. But first, I need to put up my hair, beat my face, film 2 videos, and then I'm going to wash my face, do my exercise, take a shower, and then we're just gonna poodle around for the rest of the day. Not really sure what I'm gonna do. I will probably, honestly, try and find myself some adversaries because I want to get better at the adversaries for a little bit. Dink around with the adversaries because it's a new feature and I'm excited and I want to play with it before I upload a video where I rip it to shreds. To the bathroom, look like a normal human dog monster.
And we are once again back in the hot seat to take a look at Dumbledore's Big Plan. This is episode 2, so make sure to go and watch that and give the SuperCarlinBrothers some love. If you like really cool Harry Potter videos, like theory videos, if you like mine, anyway, my discussion of Harry Potter theory, and well, specifically Wizards Unite theory, then you're gonna love SuperCarlinBrothers. You've probably already watched them. We're gonna dive into their second video in their series called Dumbledore's Big Plan, and we're gonna react to it and see whether or not my bias will be confirmed. But first, we're going to take a sip of coffee. You know why I love this coffee mug? It's because it's white on the outside and red on the inside, and it looks really cool. It fits really well in my hand. But it's also my favorite coffee mug because it's the one that has coffee in it.
Hey, brother. That's what you sound like, Ben.
That was way too long. I don't sound like that.
Guys, welcome to part 2 of Dumbledore's Big Plan. Check that out, but otherwise, welcome back. As interfering as Dumbledore is, and as much danger as he was willing to put Harry in the first book, I do not think he is willing to subject the rest of the school to the Chamber of Secrets just so Harry can have a crack at whatever's inside there. Fast forward to Order of the Phoenix, Dumbledore allows Umbridge to reign her terror over the school until the moment she tries to physically harm one of the students. He is definitely not okay with harm coming to his students, unless they're Harry.
Okay. But hiring the werewolf? I love Lupin. Lupin is amazing. He's one of Harry's best Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher. He was one of the best teachers that Hogwarts had ever seen, in my personal opinion. I'm not here to advocate for people to not be hired based on their pre-existing condition or not get, access to jobs and benefits they need for that pre-existing condition. I just probably think that somebody who has the propensity to turn into a slathering monster every full moon probably shouldn't be around children. I mean, yeah, he's got a potion, but he forgot to take it. And as anybody who has to regularly take medication knows that if you don't take your medication, bad things happen. Sure, I think that Dumbledore wants to protect his students, but also sometimes it's not. Sometimes it doesn't go too well. Okay.
He seems to genuinely not know the monster is a basilisk, because if he did, certainly he could have at least offered up precautions against it, like using mirrors or, probably sending the kids home. That's probably what he should have done.
Yeah.
That, to me, the real person to be suspicious of is Professor Sprout. How did she know they were going to need mandrakes that year? Coincidence? Sounds like it. They probably have them every year. I don't know. That said, though, once the chamber is open, we know that I don't think the opening of the Chamber of Secrets was part of Dumbledore's big plan at all, or even something he could have predicted.
No battle plan ever survives contact with the enemy. Sun Tzu's the art of war. God, I sounded like pretentious idiot then.
Dumbledore definitely had his own agenda for Harry that year, some of which I dare say were pretty obvious. Let's do this.
Okay, sure.
Similar to Philosopher's Stone, I think Dumbledore had 3 main goals for Harry to accomplish in year 2, one of which really only comes into play after the chamber was open. That one was kind of a happy accident. Well, except for all the petrifications. Maybe a blessing in disguise? No, that doesn't feel right. Anyway, here are his goals for Harry. First is to keep his ego in check. Second is to teach him the disarming spell, which goes on to be his signature spell. And third, and this is the one that ends up being a silver lining. Ooh, yes, silver lining, that's it. Is to test Harry's...
Not a blessing in disguise. People almost died. Silver lining. The shape of a snake.
Loyalty to Dumbledore himself, which boils down to one thing: the hiring of Gilderoy Lockhart.
Pretty obvious.
I'm here for this. Okay.
We need sure.
Wanted to know why, but this is a theory that makes sense. Like I wanted to know, but it's also not something I'm willing to like deeply explore on my own. I guess I'm glad that they did, because sure, keep your ego in check, because this is the guy to show you like, don't be a terrible person.
That say pretty obvious.
Pretty obvious.
How do we not have that?
We do need shirts.
Does someone want to design that?
Obvious.
Tweet me. For Dumbledore, keeping Harry humble and modest is of the...
Do you mind the pretty obvious being like Art Deco font? Because like that's all I do. That's like my aesthetic. Hello? You see? Hello, I really like Art Deco. Hi.
Those who are best suited to power are those who have never sought it. Those who, like you, have leadership thrust upon them and take up the mantle because they must, and find to their own surprise that they wear it well. In that moment, Dumbledore is comparing Harry to himself at the same age, where instead of selflessly caring for his siblings after the death of their mother, he is plotting world domination and lusting after Grindelwald with the Deathly Hallows. Or wait, sorry, flip that. Lusting after the Deathly Hallows with Grindelwald. You know what? It works either way. Which, of course, ends in the unfortunate and untimely death of his sister. It was like a really bad 2 months for Dumbledore. Immensely important from his perspective that Harry never have a big head about anything. Harry had a really good first year, popularity-wise. He saved the Philosopher's Stone. He defeated Voldemort. Again, he was the youngest Quidditch player in a century and helped Gryffindor win the House Cup for the first time in at least 6 years. Plus, he's the son of James Potter. It might have been pretty easy for Harry to slip into a similar role as his father if it went unchecked, especially when he starts the year by flying a car and crashing.
Trying to get Harry to use the skills that he obviously got from his dad and his mom. Let's face it, Lily was amazing. Probably was really good at potions, let's just be honest. But not end up being a bully. Kind of a big deal. So, sure. I'm just saying, he got all of his kindness from Lily. He luckily didn't inherit much from James other than a slight arrogance streak that tends to come out occasionally.
Crashing into a tree on the cool grounds, which I think we can all agree, pretty awesome. Dumbledore's solution, though? Hire Gilderoy Lockhart, a walking billboard of what Harry could become if he lets his ego inflate too much.
Sure.
Let me introduce you to your new defense against the dark arts teacher. Me.
Because honestly, why else would you hire this guy? And that he is completely inept.
Pesky pixie pestonomy!
But if he knows that from the outset, then isn't it kind of irresponsible to have him teach all of your students for an entire year? Yes, it is very irresponsible.
Which I have a really big problem with, because now you've got a bunch of kids who basically didn't get their second year education, which is not a good look.
In what world would Severus Snape agree to be the assistant to Gilderoy Lockhart in a dueling club? You are correct.
Sure.
It would definitely would not, don't not, never happen. I don't know how many negatives that was, but for clarity, he wouldn't do it. Unless it was actually part of Dumbledore's big plan to ensure that Harry got at least one decent defense against the dark arts lesson that year. The dueling club meets all of one time and never happens again, but
it's the worst school club literally ever. They're like, yeah, we're gonna meet once, and you're gonna learn one spell. Cool. Good education.
best duelist in the entire series, and so who better to teach Harry how to disarm? Plus, Expelliarmus.
But Flitwick, though. Flitwick was a dueling champion. But Flitwick, though.
Lord Voldemort's soul, maimed as it is, cannot bear close contact with a soul like Harry's, like a tongue on frozen.
I could see this, like not wanting Harry to do harm, not wanting Harry to take a life early. So because, yes, his soul being intact like that is his greatest weapon against Voldemort. So sure. Still makes you predictable as hell.
What you fell over for? Which brings us to the...
I come back 4 years in the making. What you fell over for? Ah, splat.
Final goal of Dumbledore's big plan, ensuring that Harry is truly loyal to Dumbledore himself. Remember from the last video that in deciding to meddle in Harry's
Feels a little culty to me, but okay.
Preparations. Sure. Like, here's a young boy who has already proven he is very important to the wizarding community, but has also proven that he's very brave and bold and capable. Harry's lack of trust in telling Dumbledore the truth could be a very worrisome indicator that he has not yet decided what path he's going to go down. But Harry's
which at that point he hadn't. He was like, should I have been sorted into Slytherin because of these things? He's definitely like questioning his identity at this point. So sure, yeah, I could see that being worrisome to Dumbledore, especially since, notice I like the video, important. So at this point, if we are assuming that Dumbledore is, yes, using this young man in order to bring about the prophecy in the way that Dumbledore wants, and this is in the way that like Harry is living and Voldemort is dead, that is, of course, the best outcome. Then arming him with the information, then turning him to your own cause by getting him to trust you more and more and more. Yes, that would make 100% sense. It's also a little culty. It's also a little weird. Obviously, we're not singing the same things that, you know, a cult leader would do in order to do that. So there's that at least.
Even though he's leaving the school, he seems to have a pretty good idea that Harry is on the case and offers him some potential help if he solves the entire mystery and then needs some assistance. And in the end, we know that Harry...
This does make sense because at this point, Dumbledore needs a contingency plan. He's getting led away from the school and he needs somebody else to start investigating. If he knows that Harry already has a leg up, sure, that's his best resource. That's his best contingency plan.
Does become very loyal and pledge his allegiance to Dumbledore because he's able to summon Fawkes in the Chamber of Secrets. The question though is, how does Dumbledore earn his loyalty? And I think the answer is Hagrid.
You wouldn't be talking about me now, would you?
Dumbledore,
sure.
Of course, as we said earlier, knows
Hagrid,
for sure...
I think, is one of Dumbledore's best weapons. For one thing, Hagrid is unerringly loyal. He always will be unerringly loyal. And secondly, Hagrid is also kind and shows a side of the wizarding world that many don't show to Harry. The only two people that I can really think who show this level of compassion and love and caring towards Harry are Molly Weasley and Hagrid. They're kind of Harry's mom stand-in. The pair of them together kind of work on that together for him. So sure, I'm trying to like collect my thoughts on the Chamber of Secrets too. But yeah, I think that was definitely a wild card here as far as Dumbledore is concerned. Yes, I 100% agree. He probably brought in Lockhart in order to show Harry like, hey, don't get a big head on your shoulders. Also, like, don't be a plagiarizing / identity stealing jerkwad like Lockhart is. We find out that Lockhart was actually obliviating people who actually had these accomplishments and making them think that he did it and taking all of their credit. So don't be that person. Don't cheat your way to the top. Sure, yeah, he needed Harry to be 100% loyal to him. I don't... With no ulterior motive, I will always doubt that Dumbledore had any kind of an ulterior motive. I think that while his passion for hunger definitely shifted from the times of Grindelwald. He didn't necessarily need power in the form of like world domination. I still think that the hunger for power is there. For example, him choosing to not be Minister for Magic, but instead to be the headmaster of the one and only school, it appears, molding young minds. That is significantly more power than, I think, the Minister of Magic, because you can shift the way an entire generation thinks if you so desire to do so. That's a lot of power. The ulterior motive for Dumbledore is always going to be the access to power, and what access to that power looks like is always going to shift for him. It used to be he wanted to get the Deadly Hallows in order to cheat death, but then he wanted the power of shifting generations so that they thought different. And, you know, that could be good or that could be bad, but And in this case, he's in the position that he's in, specifically with the intent to, he's there specifically with the intent to make sure that the kid who's going to either be the worst Dark Lord ever or defeat the Dark Lord is going to go down the path that he actually needs to go down. So, sure. Okay, so that was part 2 of my reaction. If you would like to go and watch this video, you definitely should. You should check it out in the description down below. Go check out SuperCarlinBrothers because they're so much fun to watch.
Done filming that stuff for today. And now I have to take off all of my makeup because I still need to work out. The boys are playing Minecraft Dungeons together. We'll see how that all goes. / figure out what we're doing for dinner. This is always my problem. I'm always like, what are we having for dinner? My friend Chris just sent me this fantastic sea shanty TikTok, like Viking sea shanty, and it just...
Someday I would buy gummies with good oars and sails to distant shores.
Getting close to the havens, humanity foemen, humanity foemen, humanity foemen. Old Nordic, Viking, Scottish sea shanties. My kids are so loud. So freaking loud. But Hobbit music sung by adorable, also ginger-haired, very curly-haired Scottish woman makes me very happy. Keep careful watch of my brother's souls, and should the sky be filled with fire and smoke. Well, it is now almost 10 o'clock at night. Not gonna lie to you, had a very rough evening. It's just been a really rough couple of days in general, and I don't really know why. And I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, because that's not what this series is about. This series is not about sugarcoating things and pretending like the bad days don't exist, because the bad days most definitely exist. Been talking to my therapist today, and we're getting some tools organized. Also, had a moment to talk to Gita, and we talked together, and that was really good to do. Yeah, so thank you very much, Gita. Check out Gita Lovegood. She's a really, really great person, and I'm trying not to cry because today has been, the last like 50 hours have been really, really hard. Just in general, and you know, it's mostly just been external stuff that's been hard. You know, we had some tough family stuff come up, and it's nothing life-threatening, nothing happened. It was just a lot of emotional stuff. So, and that's all right. And that we dealt with that. We got through that, and now just like dealing with the aftermath of all. I don't know if you can hear that. I think that was Justin. Impressive lung capacity. I don't know if you can hear any of that. Oh, that made me giggle. Okay, well, anyway, it's just been a rough chunk of time around here. So, although I can share this with you right now, you know, there's a lot of private stuff that still happens behind the scenes that makes it difficult to share. So I'm not gonna share everything, but I can tell you that that therapy was helpful, most definitely. Talking with my dear friend was helpful, and then also made a plan to talk with Chris tomorrow as well, so that we're gonna have like a Chris, Gita, Zoe chat. There might be other people who come in on that, and I'm totally 100% for it. You know how it goes. I also need to make plans to talk with Austri, because I haven't talked to Austri in a couple of weeks. Not a few weeks. It's been a couple of weeks. I miss Austri. It's been the hardest part, is missing Austri. We're almost there. I'm gonna export this footage. And oh, cartilage in the nose popping. There is no bloody nose, so that means we're not crashing on our ITP and our autoimmune, which is a great thing. Okay, I might need to just like end this and go cry for a minute, which is not going to be pretty, and nobody needs to see that. And sometimes I cry, and that's okay too. So remember that I love you always. I will see you tomorrow. And remember that it's okay to not be okay. Because I'm not okay right now, but I know I will be very soon. Okay, see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.